What's up, guys? So we have Emiliano here. Emiliano is a client of mine. So we've been working together for about 4 months at this stage. Emiliano is a dating coach from Mexico, and he's clients all over the world now. Um, Emiliano, what was going on? Like, what were you struggling with? What were you facing? What was the situation before we ever started working together?
Yeah, so when I started working with you, I was on a dry streak of 3.5 months of not enrolling any client in my program. I mean, I was getting a few calls booked here and there, but I could sense that even from the outreach and the DMs, I was having resistance, doubt from those people to even jump on a call with me. And even in the calls, I was getting a lot of resistance, objections. It's as if they were trying really hard to put up with excuses. So why not to join my program?
Okay, so there's a lot of objections. You were getting some calls, not tons, but you were on this dry streak, right? When you look back, what do you think was like going wrong, or what was the weak point, or what was it you were doing wrong?
Yeah, I think it was just trying a bunch of stuff and not having, first of all, consistency, second, a structure or a path to follow. So I was all over the place, and it was that, and it was draining my confidence. Even in the sales calls, I was not completely sure about my offer. Therefore, there was hesitation whenever I presented the offer, the price. Well, that, and obviously, I wasn't sure on how to, I was not getting results in terms of creating the desire for them to enroll in my program and not even jump on a call with me.
So struggling to get calls booked, not creating the desire on the calls, objections. You also said like a lack of clarity on your side when it came to actually presenting the offer. Would you say you still feel that way, or are things quite different now in that regard?
Now, after the recent wins that I've gotten, it's just a different vibe, a completely different vibe from my part on on showing them the, well, first of all, how to find out the situation that the prospect is in, the challenges they're facing, and from my part, how to show them that my program is going to be a 180 spin in their life, and that they will have a lot of improvement as soon as we start working together. So obviously my confidence has skyrocketed since then. It can be shown, it can be seen in the prospects when they actually are even taking notes on and perceiving me as an authority and want to know more about my program and are actually asking, hey man, so what's the next step? When do we start? Almost.
Totally. So by the time you actually get to presenting the offer, you really feel like the prospect is asking for
Yeah,
it, right? Does that make you a lot more confident when it comes to presenting?
for sure. And not only that, but also just more smooth, it's not even as if there's a sale going on,
Mm.
but more of a like an agreement that we're both wanting to reach.
And so talk to me, like, you were on the dry streak before. It was like 3 months before you signed somebody. And now you're signing clients for 3K. You have some of these recent wins, so we'll speak about that in a moment. When we started to work together, it wasn't 3K though. Your offer was different. What were you charging at that time?
Yeah. Uh, again, I was a bit all over the place trying a bunch of stuff, but I had a couple 2K closes,
Mhm.
which were not consistent. So yeah, I've ever since increased my offer to 2.5 and now 3K.
Cool. Is there anything holding you back from increasing that even more?
Well, I haven't thought about it, but I don't see why not. I mean, I've had clients that finish my program and are like, I would have seriously paid double for what you're charging right now after watching the transformation and the results after
Mm,
working with you. So yeah,
yeah, for sure. For sure, man. And so when you were charging the like 2K and you were getting some calls, not a lot, but you were still getting on like I think 2 calls a week. What objections was it you were facing most often?
first it was the money, as if, yeah, man, uh, I don't think I have this amount of money, which was a nice way of saying I don't want to put money into this. I may have it, but I don't want to put money into this because I don't see the value behind it, right?
Mm,
Then it was also the I want to try it by myself first objection. I want to work on myself and see if that fixes it, which again could have or could have not been. I'm not sure if you're the right guy that
mm.
is going to take me to my desired place.
And those objections, they were like tough at the time, but talk to me about now. Like, how do you feel like are with objections these days? Do you feel like you're even getting objections? What's the situation now when you're on a call?
Yeah, so the past clients that I had enrolled before I started working with you, well, it was taking 2 hours, even 3 hours, right, to even close them. Right now, my calls are way shorter, so it's not as energy draining as it was before because the sales call structure allows me to uncover every hidden spot that they don't even put objections by the time that I present the offer.
Mm,
Again, it's like they're asking for it even. So um, I thought I was decent at handling objections. I found out that it's way better not to have objections at all in the first place.
mm. Where do those objections come from?
Maybe a little bit of doubt because perhaps it's the first time that those prospects invest in themselves. But once that we really figure out the root of the objection and we compare it against the challenges they're facing and then their desire to improve and to change this part of their life, it's pretty easy for them to say yes.
Mm, totally. Totally. It all comes down to that commitment and certainty, right? We have to make them certain. And I think what you're saying there also, the prospects asking for like, okay, man, what's the next step? You're building so much certainty before you even get to the offer that the prospect's just like, man, you know what's going on. Like, how can we solve this? And as a result, you're getting a lot less objections. And even the objections that you do get, you know how to tackle these now.
Yeah, exactly. It's and in retrospective, I noticed how that's what I was lacking in my previous sales calls.
Mm,
That's why they were putting up with a lot of resistance and all that because they were not certain that my program was the vehicle to take them from A to B.
mm.
And obviously, that led into them not wanting to commit.
So, talk to me about some of the wins, right? That we were in a dry spell at that time. The price point was also lower. I imagine, right? The price point was lower. You were facing finance injections. And then I come along and I tell you, you need to increase the price. Um, right? When we first started, that might have created some resistance, but now you're closing these guys on the higher ticket stuff. You recently had uh, you're obviously signing clients, but you also had your first in person, right, with a group of dudes there in Mexico City.
Yeah, that was a huge milestone as well. My first in-person event. And I mean, if they flew with the sole purpose of attending this immersion that I hosted, it's a pretty good sign that I'm on the right path. That, again, like you said, the price increase that I've been making and the calls that I've been booking, that I've been scheduling, most all of them from uh, outreach, cold outreach. I was averaging 1, 2 call a week in the past. Now it's around 4. So it's sometimes it's the challenge that I face now is trying to keep up with the chats, because they're investing a lot in the conversations. So, but then again, it's a better problem to have.
For sure, for sure. Now you're getting calls with prospects that are more highly qualified, more bought in. And then
Mhm.
on the sales process, you're identifying their needs and their goals, what they've tried in the past. And then you present your service and you build certainty around it, right? And
Exactly.
that's the puzzle. That's what's going on. Cool. So first, from totally not in momentum to where you are now, you had the immersion was just there, I think, last week. You're in momentum. You have more calls coming up now. You'll call later on today. The things that were holding you back before, you said like you're getting objections, and not a lot of certainty being built in prospects. You said like about a lack of clarity when it came to doing the outreach, right, and generating leads. And like you were getting support before we worked together, you were getting support, you would worked with a coach. So what do you think is different from what I do to what a lot of people do out there?
Right. Yeah, I have worked with a couple of coaches in the past, but I'm a firm believer that what took you here is not going to take you there. So that, and there's no such thing as stagnation. So maybe I got comfortable with the decent results that I was getting at the beginning of the year. And then I found myself in this period of time that I was not even able to maintain those numbers.
Mm.
So again, the approach that you have, I like it because it's not only focused on solely sales, although it's great that it's a big part because that's what has been getting those clients enrolled in my program, but also a little bit more of a holistic approach towards the brand, the marketing, and a little bit of even the time management. So yeah, it's as if this I'm a very structured guy, so that step by step that you provide gives a lot of clarity, which entails more confidence and time efficiency to get to where I wanted to go.
You're an engineer after all, right? So what
I
we've
am.
done, what we've done together is engineer the paths to get you to the sale, to get you the calls booked, but to get you to the goal. Whereas before you were maybe lacking some of that clarity. It's not that you weren't putting the energy in, you were doing outreach, you were getting on calls, but lack of structure maybe led to lack of confidence and a lack of results also.
Absolutely.
Totally, man. So if we've achieved all of this in the short period of time that we've worked together, like what's next for you? You know, you had your first immersion. Is there more immersions coming up? Is there more in person? Is there group program? What's coming?
Yeah, well, I see myself hiring someone in no time, starting 2023, because of the amount of calls that I've been booking, perhaps outreach or content creation, perhaps to have more time allocated into the actual sales calls and the coaching, so that also improving and automating even more my online program. I think it's all about time efficiency from here on, now that I have the mindset and the skills, and I know it's possible to build up and scale up my business.
Right, dude. So I'm excited for everything that is to come in the months to come. Where can people, what's your Instagram? Where can people find it?
Absolutely. So my Instagram is at Attractive Lifestyle Mentoring. And yeah, I'm also excited about what's coming for us.
Totally. Totally. Dude. So thanks for the time today. Thanks for giving this little interview. And yeah, you'll see this featured on the website in time to come.
Thank
Cool.
you, man.